Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Sit down and shut up. I got a few things to say about the draft, and after I leave, you can ask me as many questions as you want. Now pick up your crayons, put down your slinkies, and pay attention, and don't be stupid, you morons. So, we want to talk about the draft, do we? Okay, let's talk about the draft. Now, I've said this 50 million times before. Offensive linemen, offensive linemen, offensive linemen. Acting lessons, singing lessons, dancing lessons. A great offensive line makes a bad quarterback fair. A fair quarterback, good. A good quarterback, great. And a great quarterback, legendary. What's the point of having Daniel Jones and Barkley and good receivers if there's no pocket or it's collapsing and there's no time for a receiver to create separation? What's the point of having a running back if there's no hole for them to run through? Having skilled players and no offensive line is like running a bar that doesn't serve alcohol. Gabish? It's insanity. That's why you buy those skilled position players through free agency or trades. Isn't it funny? And by funny, I mean like a fucking knife shoved into my ass that every great quarterback had a great offensive line. Isn't that a coincidence? Put your hand down. I'm being sarcastic, you dope. When you see a quarterback standing in the pocket and able to go through progressions, you think that's the quarterback making that happen? You think the quarterback put out a force field to keep the rushers away? It's the offensive line doing that! If a quarterback has time and isn't getting hit, it's the offensive line doing that. What part don't you understand? You ever see a Super Bowl championship team unable to run and throw and the quarterback is getting sacked and scrambling on every play? No! A winning football team starts on the offensive line. Build that fucking line and you can draft Strooms Magoo at running back. Build that fucking line and you can draft Tits McGee at quarterback. Build that fucking line and you can draft wide receivers in the 53rd round. Build that fucking line and you can have Odell Beckham's cousin Schmoldell at wide receiver. You don't need great receivers and running backs. A great offensive line will make smart, hard-working, good athletes into great position players. And by the way, what's up with the Jets? They drafted a kid that looks like his name is Myron Oglethorpe Rockefeller, and he's going to cry any minute. This is who the Jets pick at number 2? What? This kid is like throwing a high school senior into prison with his tonsils removed and a hole in the back of his pants. Wow. Who drafts a kid from Utah to play quarterback in New York? Who did he play against in college? Nobody. That was a head scratcher. And don't give me the shit about how good the Giants or Jets drafted this year, okay? You want to understand the performance of their GMs? Here's the last 4 seasons' records. 3-13, 5-11, 4-12, and 6-10. Oh boy, that's some drafting. Here's the Jets' last 5 season records. 5-11, 5-11, 4-12, 7-9, and last year 2-14. You know what those records mean? Those records mean that if the Jets and Giants general managers owned a restaurant, they would serve broiled shit and vomit soup. That's what that means. Having records like those years after year after year, you didn't draft very well, okay? When you're the GM of a pro football team and you go 3-13 and 2-14, it means you should be out in a pasture tending to sheep and playing the fucking flute. You all want to know about the draft this year? Okay. We took a wide receiver in the first round. We went heavy on linebackers and cornerbacks. We drafted a running back, which is like a bakery drafting a donut. What's the fucking point? And the best thing Gettleman did was trade down to get more picks for next year, which is like paying a whore a year in advance. That's right. Print that. Every fucking word of it. You know what? You know what? The proof is in the pudding. I'm done talking about the draft. Show me on the field. Show me a winning record. Show me a playoff spot. Show me something other than annual one-loss records that would suggest you know more about ping pong than football. And that's that. Go back to your offices and bang out your stupid stories. Go listen to that hair helmet head jerk off fucking Mel Kiper, who hasn't gotten a fucking draft right since he closed the window on a windy day. Get out of here. Go Big Blue. Print every fucking word I said, goddammit.